We're Brian and Sydney. This year, we're getting married and leaving our home in North Carolina to travel across the U.S. in our newly converted cargo van. But we still have to build it. Follow along as we create our new home. And action.
So now we have our studs, our stud wood. We have our miter saw, courtesy of Tom. And today we're going to work on the framing, which we think we have planned out. We have our self-drilling screws that we're not sure if they're the right length, so we're going to have to check that before we drill anything. We just were at the store and we were like, how long do they need to be? So we made our best guess.
So, as always, we went to go do something in the van and we were like, wait, how do we do this? So we are doing research, and after looking at what we need to do with the wiring in there, we decided that we are going to reroute the wires, but we don't want to cut and splice them and then feed them through the wall. So Brian thinks he found a video that we can just do it without splicing them by taking off the taillights. So now we're back to square one.
Basically, we had our idea of how we wanted the studs to be, and then we got in there and we were like, oh yeah, this stupid wire's in the way. And I thought we were going to be able to work around it, but it proved to be much more difficult to work around it than I thought. So now we're like, all right, we're moving this wire. Let's figure out how to freaking do this.
Yep.
So we want to pull these wires out, and to do that, to pull it all the way out, you have to disconnect literally everything from everywhere. So I'm disconnecting some things here, disconnected this. I need to unscrew these grounding wires over here. And then we have to take off the tail light, unplug that, take off that tail light, unplug that, undo some stuff over here, and then yank the whole bad boy out.
All the wires.
Just hooked it all back up.
Okay. Yep, they both work. Should we check like the turn signals and stuff?
Yeah, I can do that too.
Okay. Woo! So you can see in here we really cleaned up the wiring. There's still some that's out, but it's so much better.
Here we are, 3 hours later, about to cut our first stud. You want to peer check my measurement?
Looks good.
Now before I do this, I've watched many videos. Many people will put screws in they don't take, so they take them back out, and then their studs end up with a bunch of holes on them. And that's okay.
Okay.
That happens to everybody.
Okay.
I want you to be ready for that.
I'm ready.
First one. Well, there's one. Do you think do one up top?
Yes, I think do one up here and then we'll work our way down. All right, after exhausting 2 drill batteries, we have part of the van framed. And I think it worked out well. I am really glad we actually moved the wires.
Yeah.
Even though it was kind of annoying. And we learned that a lot of this is what, galvanized steel?
I think it's boronated.
Boronated, whatever that means, but it makes it difficult to screw in. So this whole section up here behind the driver, this high section, is all boronated. But this section right here, we can put framing on. So we need to get more screws, and we're thinking of getting another battery. After a while, Brian and I worked out a good method for installing the studs. We would measure, cut, then check that the studs fit. I would hold the stud up and point to a good place to drill based on the pre-existing holes in the middle framework, and Brian would drill the screw to hold it in place. Probably the most difficult was installing the ceiling studs. The ceiling is curved, and we had to exert a lot of force to keep the stud in place. This basically resulted in me doing an overhead press while Brian drilled. Not the easiest thing in the world. And we're not puncturing the ceiling, right?
Definitely not. You want me to go up and look?
Well, now I'm like, it's too late. Where are all the other screws?
In my pocket.
Let me see one.
I checked this morning.
How did you check?
I just, yeah, move some insulation out of the way. See?
Okay, it's really close when it's just this, but it's going
Yeah.
through wood. Okay. I'll try some kindness.